It's State Senator Mallory McMorrow, and Noah is here to join us this week. So this may end up being a very short coffee hour, depending on how long the baby lasts. But we will go ahead and get into it. Happy Friday, everybody. It is State Senator Mallory McMorrow here with another edition of This Week with Mallory and Noah. We are going to start off the week with something a little bit lighter. Wanted to share, just first of all, happy Halloween weekend to everybody. Hope you had a great past Halloween weekend. And if this will share, oh my gosh, it might not be sharing. Well, we tried. We may not have a slideshow this week. So Noah had her first Halloween. We dressed her up as the Stay Puft Marshmallow from Ghostbusters. Mom and Dad were also Ghostbusters, which was a lot of fun. We thought we were very original with our costumes until we saw another couple with a baby dressed as a Stay Puft Marshmallow. They were both Ghostbusters. So creativity in the community. We great ideas, stay together. But we will jump right into it. Apologies that the visuals don't seem to be working on our end this week, so we're going to talk through it pretty quickly. Wanted to share an update right off the bat on Danny Fenster, because this is a question that comes up, I think rightfully, every week that we do this live stream. So unfortunately, it's not a good update to share. Danny Fenster, for those who may not know, is an American journalist who was detained in Myanmar and has been there in prison for many days. I think over 100 days at this point. So the update that we heard this week is that a court in Myanmar on Wednesday rejected the bail application for Danny Fenster, who's been jailed for the past 5 months and is adding a new charge against him. His lawyer said the new charge of violating immigration law was added Wednesday under the catch-all provision that calls for a prison term of 6 months to 5 years for violating visa conditions. So not a good update to share. We will certainly keep you posted as we have more. And it looks like Liz is working on sharing a slideshow that I will be able to pop up, which we'll get back to visual. So want to jump into the next news update. Let's see if this works. Fantastic. All right. So we are going to move into the next news update, which is the update on the vaccine. Liz, if you're able to slide forward to the next slide. This week, great news for parents, anybody who has kids in school, anybody who's looking forward to the holidays and being around loved ones, especially if you have small little nuggets at home. The CDC approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. To find available appointments, you can visit oaklandcountyvaccine.com. We've also heard that CVS, Walgreens, Meijer do have appointments open. So get the appointment. We've seen a lot of people taking advantage of this already, and a number of our school districts as well. A number of our schools are also offering appointments to come in, are hosting vaccine clinics. So that's also available on Oakland County's website. You can see which schools in the Oakland County School District are offering those appointments. All right, our next update, Liz, if you can slide forward, fantastic. This has been a question that we received last week. We might have to fly through this coffee hour and get to Q&A. On cluster reporting in schools. We know Joshua out of Berkeley, this was your question last week. And I know you've encouraged some others to share with us as well. So we did get a response from MDHHS regarding cluster and case outbreak reporting in schools. And MDHHS is following current federal guidelines. And I know this is a huge challenge, right, with parents and consistency in school and all of that to make sure you know whether an outbreak or a cluster happened in school or whether a case didn't happen in school or it was elsewhere. So I know the state is trying to be as in line with federal guidelines. And as we kind of get down to the county and local level, it is certainly a really tricky thing. My hope is that as we see more, particularly kids in that 5 to 11 age group getting vaccinated, that we will continue to get back to more of a sense of normalcy. But we're happy to share this link, this text as well with everybody who is following up with us, sending us emails about this. And we will, as always, share your concerns with MDHHS so they know what is happening on the ground. All right. Next news update. I'm going to turn off screen sharing because maybe Noah will be distracted if she can see herself on the screen. So the next news update, this is really exciting. The tampon tax repeal was signed into law. This is something, for those of you who've heard me talking about it, I have been working on in the legislature for the past 3 years. My colleague, Senator Winnie Brinks, has been working on this for, I believe, the past 8 years. This is something that actually started when Governor Whitmer was a state senator. She mentioned the bill signing yesterday, and I will pop that up so you can see it. She mentioned that she co-sponsored this legislation when she was in the legislature. So this has been a long time coming. I've had multiple people on social media ask me if it typically takes this long. And the answer is yes. You know, even things that on their face are very, very simple and seem straightforward and genuinely like a good idea, it does take sometimes years. The bill itself, writing the bill, may be straightforward, especially if you're introducing a bill that somebody has introduced in the past. But the challenge is really building that support. There are thousands of bills that get introduced every year. And it's really about convincing your colleagues and everybody currently serving in the legislature with you that this is a priority and it should be on the agenda and it should move forward. So we were thrilled to see that get done. It's been a long time coming. And I am one of many legislators who have championed these bills. And this term, they were bipartisan, which is great. So Governor Whitmer signed that. So as of yesterday, with the stroke of the governor's pen, the tax on menstrual hygiene products is history, and that will go into effect in 90 days. So the next time you buy some tampons starting in February, they will no longer have taxes added to them. Lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about what to expect for the rest of the year. We do these live streams every week that the Senate is in session, but we are winding down towards the end of the year. So this is a year where we won't have a lame duck. This is the period that we had last year. Lame duck is the period after an election before the new legislature takes office. So last year is when all of the members of the House of Representatives were up on their 2-year terms. We don't have one of those this year because we did not have a legislative election. So it's going to get pretty quiet. We are going into, there's hunting break, which is a very Midwest thing coming up. Then the Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas holiday. So there will probably be a few late days, I would imagine, in the next week or so. But then it'll probably wrap up towards the end of the year in terms of what is on the legislative agenda. And in our office, we are already planning for next year. You know, what are our priorities? What do we want to work on so that we can hit the ground running come January and move the policies that we know are going to matter. All right, we'll jump into good news, my favorite segment of the week. This is a great story. Neighbors came together to celebrate John Dick, a Royal Oak postal carrier, on his last day on the job. Dick, in his more than 20 years with the Royal Oak Post Office, showed he carried a good heart along with his satchel of mail. His wife, Jackie, is also a retired postal worker. She had covered the same route as her husband and walked it again with him on his last day on Friday. And this was so great to see. So many of his patrons made signs, celebrated his last day when they saw him out there. So congratulations, Dick. Well-earned retirement. And thank you for everything you've done for our community. Next up, Noah is clapping. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to turn this off for a second. Noah was clapping for Dick's retirement. Yay. Of course, when you turn the camera back on, she's like, "No, Mom, not on demand." All right, next up, we want to celebrate Troy Athens High School cross country team. They embraced activism this season and gave back to the community. The team promoted Breast Cancer Awareness Month by sporting pink headbands and wristbands, as well as soliciting donations from family and friends for both cancer research and the purchase of milk for those in need. In total, the athletes collected $325. So thank you, Troy Athens Cross Country, and amazing work. It is always inspiring to see our young people who it's not just about sports, it's about being a part of the community, and that is awesome. Last up for our good news this week. If you are anything like me, you have been cleaning things out throughout the past year. You've had some time at home. You've probably got a lot of e-waste, electronic waste in your house. So this is a big event. Put it on your calendar. Take advantage of it. The Detroit Zoological Society at the Detroit Zoo will be hosting an electronics collection event, an e-waste collection event, November 15th and 16th from noon to 6 p.m. to limit the electronic waste that will end up in our landfills. Items to be collected can be dropped off at the Water Tower parking lot on the north side of the Detroit Zoo parking structure. DZS will accept devices large and small, including printers, non-tube televisions, computers, wire, DVD, VHS players. If you still have that sitting around your house and you're not using it, make sure to get that recycled. Batteries, radios, phones. Each driver who brings electronic waste will receive a voucher for one free admission to the zoo, valid during regular hours, Monday through Thursday throughout 2021. Up to 2 vouchers can be provided to a participant who coordinates a drop-off with multiple households and brings a full vehicle of items that need to be recycled. All right. So with that, I am going to turn off our screen sharing and bring on Liz. Welcome.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
The wave in the beginning, it was just the cutest thing
The
ever.
wave. It's always when nobody's looking, waving and clapping. All right, so we are now in the live Q&A portion. For those who need a little reminder, or if you're new joining us, we do answer as many questions as we can. We are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So if you want to go ahead and ask a question, put your name, if that's not immediately obvious, by your username, fire away with your question. And Liz, what do we got this week?
I'm not seeing any questions right now. So maybe everyone's just having an early weekend.
Or everyone knew that Noah was here and there was going to be a pretty short attention span for a live stream.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Liz, what are you up to this weekend?
I'm in Knoxville right now. I'm going hiking in the Smokies tomorrow. So trying to get some hiking in before it gets too cold.
Yes. Nice.
Oh, we do have a question.
We have a question.
This question is from Jillian on Facebook. What is your biggest priority going into 2022?
Jillian, oh my goodness, biggest priority going into 2022. So something a lot of people may not know, I have now introduced, I believe it's 36 bills over my first 3 years in office, and none of them have been passed into law. So looking at a lot of the things that have been a priority for us, the tampon tax repeal did get passed. That was a package that I worked on, but somebody else's bill ended up getting signed into law, which happens sometimes. So a lot that we're working on is economic development reform. So a lot of our traditional approach to economic development has centered around tax incentives. And we have seen tax incentives for companies, sort of the shortcomings of that play around the country. So really looking into how can we reform our approach to economic incentives so that A, we're more successful, but B, that it benefits people as well. And we've actually seen that be a successful model around the country where you're not just offering, tax incentive cash on the table for a company, but investing in, another college campus or increased transit in a certain area is a really strong way to win economic development, business investment, but also support your people. So that's going to be something I'm working on. Hopefully this week, Build Back Better and the bipartisan infrastructure deal will pass in Congress. That's the word on the street. So going into next year, it's implementing a lot of that. So that's EV chargers, building out our infrastructure, clean energy, a lot of things that have been on our priority list for the past 3 years. Now there will be money backing that, which will be fantastic. And then I think fundamentally, clean water is still a priority. We're seeing what's happening in Benton Harbor, and a lot of the monies in the bipartisan infrastructure package will be able to support getting those lines out of the ground, not only in Benton Harbor, we've seen this here in Birmingham and Royal Oak over the past few years, hitting that lead level exceedance, and so much more. So stay tuned. We'll be reintroducing a lot of bills and working on a lot of new stuff as well.
All right, we have one more question. It is from Ryan. He says, thank you for the Fenster update. Where can people find up-to-date information on him and his status?
Yeah, Ryan, unfortunately or fortunately, the way that we are able to get most of our updates is through the news, like a lot of people are. The Detroit News has been really good at reporting sort of updates as they happen. So I think that's a good place. And I, again, always appreciate you continually asking about it. So long as it is important to our constituents, which of course it is, because this is somebody from home here, we will keep sharing the updates as we know them as well. Noah agrees.
She does. And then Jillian had a second follow-up and is wondering, how does some constituents help you with these challenges and goals for next year? How do constituents help out in accomplishing those?
Great question. So something that we always encourage people to do whenever I introduce a bill, it gets referred to a committee. So if it's something that you support that we've introduced, I would say, step one is sign up for our email newsletter or watch these, which you're already doing. And we will keep everybody up to date on what we're introducing, what we're working on. If there's something that you support, we always would appreciate you contacting the committee chair to ask that bill be taken up for a hearing. And that's a great way to help that is not obstructive. I like that kind of thrown in there because committee chairs are the ones who determine what gets taken up and what doesn't. There's a lot on the agenda every year. So the more they hear from people that this is a priority, hopefully that will move up on their priority list.
She agrees. I can tell. All right. Well, yeah, those are all the questions that we have right now. Noah might have thrown in a question in there, but I can't decipher her language yet. So,
baby, she wants to know when we're gonna have snacks. And
fair. Yeah, I also know. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? She's like, I don't know.
Doing baby things. Don't worry about it.
Well, Liz, we'll let you go. Have a great weekend.
All right.
All right, everybody. We are going to close out. Noah is teething, so she is gnawing away on this little rubber toy that I have attached to her high chair, which we call her baby executive business chair, so that she can be in this meeting. But I hope everybody has a great weekend. Bundle up. It's starting to get cold. Ooh, Noah, good burp. And we will. You want to wait? Can we get away before you leave? No, she decided not to. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time.